What is up? We are wrestling maniacs out there worldwide. It's the best one, Donnie here with...
What's going on, everybody? Danny here, the better looking host of the We Are Wrestling Talk Show, if I were to say so myself. You know, I'm looking a little dapper in my Freddy Krueger shirt tonight. Hey, man, we just saw one of the greatest WWE shows in recent memory, man.
I could not believe how good this WrestleMania Night 1 was. Beyond my expectations. And I think I said that in my prediction video, actually.
Yeah, I
this
think
Mania.
I think you did.
And I did say it on the latest episode of the We Are Wrestling Talk Show. I said a lot of people's expectations were low, so I knew WWE going into this event, they were definitely going to reach people's expectations. And let me tell you, in the beginning of the show, a little slow, but I felt like as soon as Bianca Belaire and Becky Lynch friggin' put on that great match that I knew was going to happen, that's when the momentum picked up. And with WWE, anytime, it's rare when this happens, but the way that they did the last 4 matches on that card, that is WWE at its top, because they had the Becky and Bianca, then Seth freaking Rollins, Cody Rhodes.
The American Nightmare.
And then, surprisingly, Charlotte Flair and Ronda actually put on a really good match as well. And then having Kevin Owens and Stone Cold Steve Austin. It's like they kept going up and up and up and up right to the ceiling.
I will say, although the Charlotte and Ronda match was a little bit more enjoyable than really anything that they really do on a weekly basis, I will say that had to be one of the weakest matches on the card. I feel like that finish was a little bit of a botch. Like it wasn't. They made it seem like it wasn't supposed to happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but hey, we're going to go right through from start to finish, and we are going to review WrestleMania 38 Day 1. This is our review. If you're not a We Are Wrestling Maniac yet already, and you love either sports entertainment or professional wrestling, help support this channel by hitting that subscribe button now, turning on the post notifications, videos be coming out of nowhere like a goddamn RKO, and of course, you already know, the grind is real. Oh, yeah, there we go. Freaking Big Papa Pump over here. But, yeah, so we are going to start this off with the introduction to Mania. So usually nowadays with the introductions to start the show, they usually have a celebrity do it. And this year, no other than Mark Wahlberg. How did you feel about the introduction package that they made, building to the beginning of WrestleMania 38?
I actually liked it. I saw the video because before Mania they posted the video of it on YouTube or whatever. So I seen it a couple days before tonight, and I thought they did a really good job with it. I'm a huge fan of Mark Wahlberg. He's from our neck of the woods or whatever. So I mean, anybody that's from our hometown that's doing good, I sort of like they get a stamp of approval from me. So
I love the comedy movies that he does, but I don't know. For me, I miss the old WrestleMania intros, and maybe it was a good video. Don't get me wrong.
With Freddie Blassie, the old school stuff.
Yeah. I miss the old WrestleMania introductions, that the way that they would introduce them, maybe because the story lines leading to Mania is more worth it. Maybe that's why I feel that way, but it was still a average intro. I thought it was acceptable. It was good.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it for what it was. It made the matches feel, even though some of the matches, I mean, there was very little build to a lot of them. I feel like with the video package, it kind of made them feel more important than they actually.
I think all the video packages that they had tonight was perfect.
Yeah,
it definitely for a match, we know a lot of these matches were not WrestleMania worthy, but these promo packages made it seem like that. So I give WWE production A+ out of that, because that's crazy.
I will say before we get into the show, and I did mention it before we actually started recording, I'm very critical on WWE, as you know, rightfully so a lot of the time, you know, because a lot of the time they have the potential to be fucking great like they used to be, but you know, I feel like the thought process is there, but the execution is poorly done. But tonight just goes to show that, you know, they can put on a killer fucking show. So I don't know why 9 times out of 10 I always feel disappointed going into a WWE event.
Here's why. I feel like this WrestleMania, it seemed like everything was planned very well. I
Yep.
feel like they did not scramble. You can tell when Raw or SmackDown or a pay-per-view or a special when they are scrambling, and I think tonight went really smooth, and I feel like if WWE can just continue to, have their shit together and continue, to have this stuff planned like they did, I think, the sky's the limit. They're just going to keep getting better again,
I
which is what we
definitely agree.
want. Which is what we want, and the reason why we criticize WWE and some of the stuff that they do is because we just want to watch a better product. We want AEW to succeed. We want the new Ring of Honor to succeed. Even fucking Impact that's on Access that nobody can even get access to.
Yep.
We want them to succeed because, you see, as a friggin' We Are Wrestling maniac, we love wrestling. We want to see all of these companies succeed. And, we are not journalists. We are not professional wrestlers. We are fucking maniacs. We are fans of this product.
Exactly. And I do want to run over it really quick because it's not technically a match. But I feel like it should be mentioned because of how iconic the guy is. The fact that Undertaker had his last match during the pandemic era, he finally got that last standing ovation tonight, and it was fucking magical.
That was awesome.
Undertaker
Beautiful moment.
Undertaker is just one of those guys, man. His legacy is cemented. There will never be another Undertaker. Never.
Never. Ever. Like Chris Jericho used to do. But, yeah.
Again.
Again. All right, so starting off now with the opening match of WrestleMania 38 Day 1, we had the SmackDown Tag Team Championships on the line. We had Rick Booger and Shinsuke Nakamura versus the Usos. How did you feel about this match?
I didn't really know what to expect going into it. I knew the Usos were gonna win, and I said this in my live stream that I did. I feel like with the Usos winning, it's pretty much cut and dry that Roman's gonna win tomorrow night, because with this whole bloodline thing going on, they wouldn't have Roman, who's the head of the table, lose the title and have his two smaller cousins, have their titles. You know what I mean? So I feel like it was a little predictable going into tomorrow night's main event. But as far as this match, I thought it was good. It went about 5-6 minutes or whatever. It wasn't a long match. It wasn't a spectacular match. It's a match that you expect to open a show. I will say, I hope Rick Boogs is okay. Apparently, he needs to have surgery. What makes me think he's a huge part of Shinsuke's gimmick now with the guitar and coming out and playing Shinsuke to the ring. So I wonder how they're gonna go about transitioning into doing something else and in the meantime. But I thought it was an alright. What did you think?
My thoughts on this opening match, it really seemed like Rick Boogs.
Hey, don't sleep on Rick Boogs, man. That
No,
dude
I'm
is a
not.
fucking powerhouse.
That's what I was going to say. This match, because I don't watch SmackDown. I just don't really like watching wrestling that much on Fridays.
Yep.
And with especially hearing that Raw's been better than SmackDown, I haven't really taken the time to. But let me say this. Rick Boogs, which I know I call him Booger, it's just a joke.
Yeah.
Honestly, he is really freaking good. And it really seemed like he had a lot of momentum in the beginning of the match. And then I don't know why he tried freaking lifting the 2 on his shoulders, and then he buckled his freaking knee, got injured.
Dude, he does that. He does that every Friday night, man. Last night, he picked who was it up? I can't remember who they wrestled last night. But he picked 2 of them up and was like deadlifting him while he was on his knees. He had him on his shoulder and he like stood up from his knees with 2 guys on his back. The dude is a fucking powerhouse, man.
Oh, yeah, no, absolutely. And it just sucks that, he got injured, because I think the plan in this match, from like what I saw from it, was like Rick Boogs was basically like going to keep doing these high moves and really showcase like his talents and his power strength. And right after he got hurt, they had to adjust everything, it felt like. And I think, to me, because of that injury, unfortunately, this match for me was very average.
Yeah, it wasn't a spectacular match. It was kind of like you go into it knowing the outcome. It was a very predictable match.
But I thought it was a little bit disappointing for a WrestleMania opening match.
Yeah, but I will say, for an opening match, it could have been better. But again, this goes back to what I was saying before. A lot of these matches, man, they had very little build to it. You know what I mean? A very little excitement. We've seen the Usos versus Shinsuke and Rick Boogs at least 6 times on SmackDown over the last 2 months. So it wasn't like an original idea. But going into it, it was a very predictable outcome. I knew who was going to win before the match started. But I feel like for an opening match, this is a match I would have saw on the pre-show. But I think with WrestleMania being 2 nights now, I don't think they're going to be having any more matches on the pre-show.
No, I don't think so either. But like, it was cool seeing like Rick Boogs, get some of his moments. Shinsuke's entrance, I thought, was really awesome. And like, but here's the thing.
What'd you think about their outfits? Their ring attire.
Yeah, the outfits was fresh for both teams, I think. They both had some really nice outfits. Because that's a big thing with Mania is the gear.
Yep.
But like overall though, I felt like, Finn Balor or Ricochet should have had this spot over this tag team match.
Yeah.
But I get it. The Usos right now are part of one of the biggest storylines with Roman Reigns, with the bloodlines. So I totally understand that. And Rick Boogs and Shinsuke are popular. And a lot of that popularity comes from Pat McAfee, dancing on the commentary table. And they're just over right now. So I totally understand why they put them in this moment.
Yeah. Dude, Pat McAfee is awesome, man. I can't wait. I can't wait till night 2.
Kick Austin Theory's ass tomorrow.
Oh, dude. Tomorrow night's review, it's going to be fucking great. I can't wait.
Yeah. All right. So now moving on to our next match, we had Happy Corbin versus Drew McIntyre. What was your thoughts on this match?
This match was, I will say, before SmackDown on Friday, going into it, I wasn't that excited. Last night, I don't know if you watched SmackDown last night, if you watched any clips or anything like that. I don't know if you know this about McIntyre. I don't know if you know this about McIntyre, but he lost his mom, I think, back in 2020, around the time the pandemic happened. And it was very emotional for him because I think because of the travel restrictions, he wasn't able to say bye to her or something. And Corbin said something negative. I can't remember exactly offhand what he said, but I know he mentioned something negative about McIntyre's mom. And McIntyre came out last night in a fury, dude. He fucking destroyed Corbin's set or whatever, for his talk show. He fucking took his sword and fucking cut through the table. It was insane. So after SmackDown on Friday, I got a little bit more excited for this match. But I will say, I feel like a lot of the anger that Corbin showed on Friday night kind of went away because he came out to the ring smiling or whatever, and he didn't really show the kind of aggression that I was thinking he was going to show towards Corbin. It was an okay match. It wasn't great. The funniest thing was the end when he tried to cut Madcap Moss and he ended up cutting through the ropes. That was the funniest shit I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, so here's what I thought about this match. The build-up, I think, was pretty good. Out of a lot of the matches that they had on this card, this was one that actually I believe the rivalry started in January.
Yeah, but
with this.
the only thing that I will say about that as to why I kind of disagree is the fact that it was either McIntyre or versus Corbin or McIntyre versus Madcap Moss. We've seen it, at least 3 times in the past 3 couple months.
Yes.
It just seems like he was facing one of them too every single SmackDown since like the Royal Rumble or something like that.
Yeah, but I'm just saying overall with the build up to this, because obviously
Yep.
this is like the send home in this rivalry. And I thought that it was very average to start, but throughout the match, especially when McIntyre did that friggin' front flip without even touching the rope.
Oh my God, dude.
What a amazing spot. That's when the match really started to pick up the momentum, and I felt like it was really good at that point.
I didn't even know he could do that stuff. He's never done that before, has he?
Hey, that's why, like, with spots, you have to save them for the special moments. And I think that's something that AEW, they don't get me wrong, the spots are great that AEW does. I love AEW, but sometimes it is overdone.
Yeah. I will say that too.
That's the thing. Like, sometimes they are overdone. McIntyre, clearly he knew how to do this move, and he did it on the biggest stage, so it mattered.
Yeah.
So I think overall, this match was pretty good. Better than I expected it to be.
I will say, again, back to the video packages and stuff like that. I like the video package to the match or whatever because it showed it didn't show Corbin as like the lone wolf gimmick or whatever, but it showed him as what was his gimmick before? Like broke Corbin or
the broken, it was like broke Corbin or something like that.
They showed the video package started with that, and then it showed him like, supposedly winning the lottery or something. And now he's Happy Corbin, and it showed like what led up to the match or whatever. That was like one of the best parts of the match is the video package.
And I thought the sword part was also great as well. How they did that was awesome.
It was definitely an ending that I don't think anybody saw coming.
Exactly, and that's I think what made it as well. Great way to finish off the rivalry. I thought it was pretty good. I was happy with it.
Yeah, but it was just like the beginning match. It was pretty average, but I enjoyed it. McIntyre definitely showed us, his other skill sets that he has. So maybe he'll pull him out more, in bigger stages or whatever. I would like to see what else the dude can do.
Yeah. So now moving on into our next match, it was a tag team match. We had the Mysterios versus the Miz and Logan Paul. What was your thoughts on this match?
Man, we talked a little bit about it before we filmed this week's episode of the We Are Wrestling Talk Show, and I showed you that video package, man, and it showed Logan Paul training with Gregory Helms and doing leapfrogs and stuff like that. I was wrong about Logan Paul in a lot of ways, and a lot of people would consider him better than Bad Bunny. I guess it's different because Bad Bunny, he was phenomenal, but he was also not an athlete. Logan Paul is an athlete. You know what I mean? I said it in my live stream. I give him all the credit in the world because, he had the balls to get in the ring with Floyd Mayweather. And regardless if, that fight was staged or whatever, I would imagine even if he's not trying to hurt you, punches from Floyd Mayweather fucking hurt. You know what I mean? You have to have some.
Oh yeah, you can go look at those pictures.
You have to have serious balls to get in the ring with him. So Logan Paul will always have my respect on that front. I do think he has a career in professional wrestling if he decides to, pursue it. He did things that I didn't think he was gonna fucking do.
Mm-hmm. And here's the thing I will say about it: Logan Paul really impressed me. He really did. I thought he did a really good job. I thought it was hilarious how he came out with that Charmander necklace that he wore at his boxing fight.
It's Pikachu, not Charmander, but I can't remember what kind of card it is.
Yeah, no, the Charmander is the card that was on it. because I guess he like made a whole friggin' like 100K chain and put the card in it.
They said it was a Pikachu Illustrator card or something like that.
I know it's a really rare card. That's what I know.
Yeah, it's like worth $1 million.
But I really loved the gear that the Mysterios had. I loved how Ray and Dominic came out and, they did the classic thing. They jumped like on the, the stage there, and then they went to like the long corners, did their thing. That was really nostalgia to me. Also, the Miz and Logan Paul, their gear I thought was really cool as well.
They matched like besties. I want to know why Dominic was dressed up like the American flag, man. I was like, if this WrestleMania was in Washington D.C., I would kind of understand, but I didn't get the point of his attire.
Here's why. Because I believe he was raised in the United States, and Dallas, basically that's like America's team. So that's probably why he did that. Because of the Cowboys, probably, but
yeah, I didn't think that. I didn't think that much into it, but yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, so I think overall, I was very impressed with Logan Paul with his first match. I think he did really smooth. Like, wow, the suplexes this guy was doing.
He did the Three Amigos.
The frog splash. I know, and then like the facial expressions at the hard cam. That's stuff you can't teach people. And he already had it. He was freaking having his tongue out.
I will say, I feel.
And by the way, my tongue is red because I'm drinking a Slurpee right now. Just so you guys know.
Yeah, he's sucking on that Slurpee. I will say, one thing that I really didn't like, and I guess it's a very small critique or whatever. But at the end of the match, spoiler if you didn't see it, fucking Miz turned on Logan Paul. But as Miz is hooking like the arms or whatever to do the skull crusher finale, up until Logan goes down, face first, he's smiling. It's like he knows this is happening and he's excited that he's gonna get this moment or whatever because the Miz is turning on him. I feel like he should have been like, "What the fuck?" Like, act really, really shocked, or whatever. It would have helped sell the entire moment. That's my only critique about it.
Yeah, no, and I have a little critique as well with Logan Paul. But it's a rookie critique, yep. And there's a lot of wrestler. Well, nah, because you go to the training schools like for a while, and like this is something they teach you, and I'm sure they probably forgot to teach.
Who knows how long he's been training? It could have been a couple weeks. It could have been a couple months.
Yeah, but here's the thing. This is something I feel like they usually teach you in the beginning, and I thought that some of the moves that were on Logan Paul, he no-sold, which is not a good thing for a rookie, especially a celebrity, because that does not look good on them. I know Logan, people probably are just, happy for him, this and that, but that was a little critique I have, because he did really not sell that skull-crushing finale, and towards the end, he didn't really sell like some of the moves that were being done.
Notice how majority of the moves that Mysterio did, none of them were on Logan, because I did again, like I couldn't help but to mention it on my stream or whatever. You have to, even though Mysterio's the one giving you those moves, you need to know how to take them in order to do it successfully and not fuck yourself up. So I feel like a veteran like Ray, like
and Dominic's young too, so that's probably why they wanted to get the two in the ring a lot.
Like a lot of the moves and a lot of like the legendary moves or whatever that Mysterio does outside of the 619, I don't think Logan Paul would have known how to take it properly without injuring himself.
Yeah, because that takes a while, I feel like, for wrestlers.
Yep.
But I thought, like, the Miz turning on Logan Paul, that was, I was not expecting that to happen.
What?
I thought it was going to be the other team there with Ray and Dominic.
What do you...
At this point, I don't even think they're going to turn on each other.
Probably not. I mean, at some point, I would like to see it. Could you imagine, like, all the vignettes you'd be able to get, like, home video footage of them at the dinner table, and they just start fucking, like, arguing and fighting and yelling at each other or whatever. Just, like, I don't know. There's a lot creatively you can do with that. But where do you see Logan Paul going now? Do you see him, coming to Raw Monday or whatever and confronting The Miz, or do you see him going away for a while?
SummerSlam! Logan Paul versus Miz. That's what's happening.
Jake Paul did say he wanted to get into the ring. And I don't know if you watched the pre-show or whatever, but Jake Paul was on one of the panels or whatever. He talked for a little bit.
Wow, I need to go watch that.
Yeah.
Damn. I didn't know my buddy Jake Paul was on
He
there.
kept getting up and threatening to punch the people because they were booing him. It was fucking hilarious. But knowing
that sounds about right.
knowing how close Logan and Jake are to each other, they're probably always hanging out with each other. Who knows if Jake didn't get in a couple training sessions as well? WWE just obviously wants to keep it under wraps. There's always a possibility to see the Paul brothers. They took over boxing, they took over YouTube, they took over Vine, fucking Instagram, whatever. I mean, they might want to try WWE.
Yeah, imagine what happens. They're a tag team. They win the titles. They have like a year run with the belts, and then next thing you know, Jake Paul freaking low blows Logan, and then they make diss tracks at each other, and it leads to a WrestleMania match. 2016, 2017, all over again.
Yeah, man. I mean, hey, I'm not gonna rule anything out. I think Logan for his first match did fucking phenomenal.
Did good. He did really good, and I thought overall this was a great match.
We couldn't ask for anything better. You know what I mean? If he had like 3 or 4 matches prior, I would have been like, okay, dude, I expect a little bit more out of you. But with this being his very first match and being at Mania, I mean, the dude did better than anybody expected him to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially in front of 77,000 people.
Yep.
I give a lot of credit to him for doing that.
That takes balls, man.
So now, moving on to the next match, was for the Raw Women's World Champion, big time Becky Lynch versus Bianca Belaire. What were your thoughts on this match?
Absolutely phenomenal, man. It was a redemption story. Bianca Belaire, after the events that happened at SummerSlam last summer, with the 26-second squash match, this was a redemption story, and it was leading up to this moment. But Bianca, won the title, and you could see in her face like the genuine emotion, because of all the months and months and months of frustration over over what happened at SummerSlam. Just to see her joy to be like, I'm on top again, fucking phenomenal. I will, however, say the match that she had at Sasha Banks to first win the title, it was a little bit better.
Obviously, Sasha's better than Becky.
Yes. But overall, this was one of the better matches of the entire night. I feel like this match is the match that really kickstarted everything to be like, okay, now we're on a fucking roll.
Yes, it did. I agree with you on that take right there. My thoughts, I was very impressed with this match. I thought, the entrances were great, especially Bianca Belaire. Reminded me of John Cena, WrestleMania 24. Had the friggin' band. They went with the beat to her entrance song. The gear looked amazing. Wow, what a freaking match. And you know what? After this, I'm gonna say this right now, since this is a review and we're talking about Bianca Belaire, the new Raw Women's Champion.
Mm.
You know how Shawn Michaels was Mr. WrestleMania?
Oh, don't tell me you're gonna go here. Yes, I know, man.
Bianca Belaire is Miss WrestleMania now. That's right. That's my take. She had a 5-star classic with Sasha Banks, one of the greatest women freaking Mania matches I've ever watched. And now, 1 year later, puts on another 5-star classic with freaking Becky Lynch. That's 2 of the 4 horsewomen in a Mania match. Bianca, I think, when it comes to like athleticism, she is the best. Everyone says Charlotte is. No. Bianca. Easily.
Charlotte, every time I see her, I want to push her off a bridge. Not literally, but figuratively. Everything about her is her father, but we'll get
whoever's booking her. Not Charlotte herself, but whoever books her.
Yeah. We'll talk about that later when we get to that match. But as far as
Nick Khan, Bruce Pritchard,
I don't even there's a lot of people backstage, but I don't even know it's individual bookers or whatever that book the match. I don't know if there's one set talent relations person. I don't know.
Abyss?
He does work backstage and he is a producer.
All right, I'll let you continue.
But as far as this match, I thought it was a good back and forth. I didn't think the match was going to be that good, honestly, going into it. I swore up and down. I had this like strong gut feeling that because of what we saw on Raw Monday with Bianca cutting Becky's hair, I thought for sure that Bianca was going to end up getting her fucking haircut tonight.
Thank God she did not.
Yeah, but I mean, I feel bad for Montez Ford, man. Imagine wanting to fucking go out on a date with her and fucking it takes her fucking. She has to watch her hair the previous night to get ready for the following night because it takes so fucking long. I feel bad for the motherfucker, man.
Yeah, that's like her whole brand too. So it's like she can't, even if she wanted to, like she can't really do that.
It was a good back and forth match. I loved when she got slammed on the fucking stairs, man. But one thing I will say, and it was a little funny to me when Becky Lynch threw Bianca into the stairs. You could tell Bianca, she went arm first, and you could tell she pushed the stairs or whatever to make the impact seem more powerful. A little critique there, but I mean, you got to notice shit like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but hey, overall, like especially like the ending there where she was going to go on the top rope, give her finisher. She did like a backflip to reverse it and then put her in the finisher. I thought that was a great pop, great way to end the match. Hands down, I'm sorry, Bianca Belaire is the Miss Wrestlemania until someone else proves me wrong.
Yeah, it was definitely a good match, and this is the match that really propelled the entire show because after this match, it was just 5-star matches all night long, pretty much.
It's absolutely crazy to me because it's like when WWE does it right, they can hit that freaking ceiling and like in baseball, you hit a home run and you can keep hitting home runs. But WWE said a home run's not good enough. They hit that shit out of the fucking park.
Dude, I fucking love it, man. Like tonight's show as a whole, it's fucking phenomenal, man. I recommend everybody to go watch it.
Yes. So now, moving on now to our next match here. The match that, wow, I marked the hell out. Seth frickin' Rollins versus Mr. McMahon's special opponent, mystery opponent, Cody frickin' Rhodes.
Hey,
the American Nightmare!
I was about to correct you, man. He's the American Nightmare.
Yeah! He had his freaking family, or the royalty is everything in the beginning. The pyros, he had the American Nightmare, the song. I am beyond happy that they did not take away anything from Cody.
Now, as long as they keep this momentum, I will be fucking happy. It's when they start changing shit that doesn't need to be changed, that's when I'm going to have a fucking issue with it. Because don't fix things that are not broken. If it's working, let it fucking go, man.
But here's the thing now that kind of scares me before we talk about the match and stuff. So I know on our last episode of the We Are Wrestling Talk show, we talked about MJF and Tony Khan having that heated discussion, and even though they squashed the beef.
Did you hear any new news on that?
No, but here's the thing. After seeing Cody Rhodes, friggin' come out basically as the character that he built outside of WWE, at this point, I think WWE sent a message out to everybody. And that is, like, if you're a big star like Cody, they are not going to try to friggin' mold somebody else. They are going, basically, like, that's what happened. They really they realize that they're wrong, and then they pretty much, put him out there. And the thing that really scares me now a lot is that other people, other big names now in the wrestling business, if their contracts expire, like MJF, January 1st, 2024, they might look back at that Mania and see Cody Rhodes and say to themselves, damn, I can come out in front of 77,000 people, basically on a bigger stage as the character that they are. Because Cody basically they kept the nickname, they kept everything that he had in AEW. So that's the thing.
The thing is, though, all right, let's say MJF did want that opportunity, which seeing how they presented Cody, they didn't change anything. He was the American Nightmare, the Cody Rhodes from, the competition. Because let's face it, WWE can say they're not competition. AEW is competition to them.
Now that Cody freaking came out with the AEW
there's
stuff,
a reason why when Cody Rhodes left in 2016 that they only offered him $500,000, but now they're offering him $5 million. AEW is competition to WWE regardless of what people want to say. But I will say this. If they start allowing superstars to be themselves, to be genuine, to get over the way that I feel like the characters should get over, like MJF, for instance. Do I think would I be mad if he toned down with cussing at children and stuff like that? No, not necessarily. But if you allow the guy to go out there, talk shit about people, I would be fine with it. If MJF can beat MJF on Monday Night Raw or Friday Night SmackDown or whatever, as long as it makes the product better, I would be fine with it. After seeing this presentation, all my skepticism just went out the window.
Yeah, so here's why I say AEW is pretty much competition to WWE. And here's why WWE looks at them like competition. Because I got this tweet, I was finding it while you were talking, from Sean Ross. He tweeted, and because
shout
this was
out to
said during
Fightful.
the match, which you can he said this, Seth Rollins said to Cody in the match, "Welcome back to the big leagues, bitch." So clearly they definitely look at AEW like competition if they're saying that. Because you knew Rollins was running his mouth around.
And then when Rollins was kicking Cody in the face, he was like, "This is my business. This is my company." You know what I mean? Because he knows,
man, what a moment.
He knows,
for Cody.
Seth knows what a big deal Cody was in AEW. So now he's like, "All right, man, you were a big deal there, but this is my company." You know what I mean?
And I'm really excited to see what they do with Cody now moving forward. I really still hope for a heel run. I really do, because I think, especially having, on the commentary, they kind of teased it a little bit. They were saying, this was Vince McMahon's, special opponent here and stuff. Vince handpicked
I don't necessarily think they should, if they turned him heel, I would be fine with it. Do I think it should happen now? No, because the dude is so fucking over. And apparently, he did a couple of days ago. Obviously, it couldn't get released until after the show or whatever. But he did an interview with Variety, and Cody had mentioned that he wanted to do something that his father never did, and that's win the WWE title. So he pretty much hinted that, all right, I handled Seth Rollins. I had my debut, my re-debut at WrestleMania. Now I want to go for Roman, pretty much, Roman or Brock Lesnar, seeing as the unification match hasn't happened yet.
Not gonna lie, if Roman is still champion by SummerSlam or Survivor Series, Cody would probably be the right person to take the title.
I would say around then. I wouldn't do it right away though. I feel like right WWE, they have a habit of making people champions and then not doing anything with it. For instance, Finn Balor, Ricochet. They need to get rid of some of the titles that they have, because the more titles you have, the less valuable they become. For instance, the Intercontinental Championship was one step below the WWE title, but now in 2022, they don't even have the Intercontinental Champion having a match at Mania. It just doesn't make any sense to me.
And we'll know tomorrow if the 24/7 championship has more value than the Intercontinental in the United States, because if they have a segment with the 24/7 title, then we know that the value of the 24/7 title is.
I don't think they will, because they didn't have any backstage segments tonight. It was just all match, and they only had 7 matches tonight tomorrow night they have 8, so they have one more match more than tomorrow's gonna be a long fucking night,
Yeah.
man.
Well, let me just say, Seth versus Cody, 5 stars easily. Such a beautiful freaking piece of art that they did. That was a WrestleMania moment. That was very stupendous.
Hey, man, stupendous is definitely the right word I would consider this WrestleMania. But I don't want to jinx anything. We still have one more night to go.
I'm scared that night 2 is not going to deliver like night 1. That's what I'm scared about, because there's no way they're going to be able to hit it out of the park back-to-back nights.
We have Edge AJ, which I think wasn't
That's
Edge and
gonna be
AJ
great.
supposed to be tonight?
Nah, they switched it, I think.
It was supposed to be tonight, and then they switched it to tomorrow night. And I think the reason that is because they knew what a match Cody and Seth was going to have, so they didn't want to go overtime. So Edge and AJ was definitely supposed to be tonight, but they switched it till tomorrow night last minute, which I'm fine with. I said this earlier, and I said, because somebody asked me like how I feel about, the card for night 1 or whatever, and I feel like all the major big moment matches they should have had for night 2, because the night 2 grand finale, it's supposed to be a bigger spectacle than night 1. And the less anticipated matches should always be on night 1. You know what I mean? It give you a little bit of taste.
The only thing I didn't understand was having both Raw and Women's World Championships on night 1. One of them should have been night 2.
Yeah, but I'm no offense to anybody out there. Well, I mean, before I saw the Becky and Bianca match, I would have said, "Thank God it was on night 1. That way we can fucking be done with it." But Becky and Bianca definitely delivered. The SmackDown Women's title, Charlotte and Ronda, left a little bit of a bitter taste in my mouth. It was a good match back and forth or whatever. It just seemed mostly like a submission match in a way. And I do kind of feel like the ending was a little bit of a botch or whatever. But going back to
so let's talk about that, unless there's anything else you have to say.
I'm fine with talking about whatever, man. The show was great, so I don't mind talking about it.
All right, so since we are, kind of talking about the Ronda Rousey and Charlotte Flair match, let's talk about that. For the SmackDown Women's World Champion, Charlotte retained her championship against
Ronda
Rousey.
It was an okay match, nowhere near as good as I feel like Becky and Bianca. I feel like now people can say if I'm wrong or not. I don't know. I think I'm personally right about this. They should have swapped places. It should have been. Here's how I would have booked the card. I would have put the Usos versus Shinsuke and Boogs. Match number 1, definitely. I would have put probably the women's SmackDown title as the second match. Third match, I would have put McIntyre versus Happy Corbin. Then I would have put the Raw women's title. Then I would have put Seth versus Cody. And
wait, what about Logan and the Miz?
I would have put that before the Raw women's title, because it was a good match, but it wasn't like anything spectacular. I would have put, honestly, like for like the second to last main event, I would have put Cody and Seth, and then after that match, have Austin and KO.
Yeah, so my thoughts on the Charlotte and Ronda match, I disagree with your opinion. I think that it was way beyond my expectations, this match. I think Ronda Rousey has gotten so much better in the ring. I think Charlotte actually, really impressed me with her in-ring work this show. I'm not a fan of the way they book her. I cannot stand her. And her winning this match, like, it really ticked me off, which is probably what they wanted. So congratulations, creative team. You got it pissed off.
Yeah, like I said,
but I watched it. I thought
the match
was
good. Okay. I will say that it wasn't anything spectacular. The build to it was fucking weird. Neither one. I mean,
build up sucked.
we could both pretty much agree that neither Ronda or Charlotte are that good on the mic. It just doesn't. They
No.
definitely need to go back to promo class. And it didn't feel organic. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's the problem there with Charlotte Flair and Ronda, you know. Like, the storyline to this friggin' match was absolutely horrible, and that's why I can't give it a 5-star, but, like, that's why, like, for me, I give it 4, because the match overall was very well, and I think if it had a good story to it, 5 stars
Yep.
easily, but it just didn't have that friggin' thing, and I think a lot of it too, you know, us fans, we wanted Becky versus
Yep.
Ronda.
And the thing with me is, I shouldn't speak too much on the build to the match because I stopped watching SmackDown a couple weeks ago. It just, it wasn't doing anything for me. I didn't feel
Yeah, but even the video package that they put together was friggin'
the video
horrible.
package was okay. I like the back, like, for whatever reason. I have this weird thing. I love anything that has to do with, like, backstage brawls or backstage segments, stuff like that. And the one where Ronda got beat up at the car, where she was like leaving the arena or whatever, and she got beat up. I didn't see that. I didn't see that live or anything, so I don't know how the whole thing played out. But that part I liked. I don't know. It was good. You could definitely tell they beat the hell out of each other, but for whatever reason, it didn't feel like a title match. It felt like they could have had this match as the main event on like SmackDown or something like that, or maybe WrestleMania Backlash, and it wouldn't have changed anything, you know?
I don't know about that. I think that this definitely was a WrestleMania match, but the problem was there was just no build up to it, and that's very important with a
You gotta
Mania
have build to
match.
get people invested.
Definitely. Hey, you're right, and that's why, like, you know, their match did great. Don't get me wrong; they're both very good in the ring, but when it comes to, you know, storyline, the storytelling, they did not tell a good story at all with this, and the finish was just
I
absolutely
did
horrible.
I did find it, for whatever reason, I found it hilarious when I think Charlotte was going for the figure four, Ronda kicked her ass, and fucking Charlotte, for whatever reason, decided to fucking spear the referee.
I know,
It
poor
it did
referee.
kind of did seem intentional, like it didn't seem like a mistake. I don't know. The whole ending is just weird to me. It almost seemed like that's not the ending that anybody expected. You know what I mean? And I guess in a way it's good because it doesn't make the match predictable. But even like the commentary team, it just seemed like maybe it was a botch. Like maybe Rousey was supposed to win, but something happened or whatever. Like, because I mean, things happen when you're on live TV. Like, maybe the referee, miscounts or whatever and counts to three instead of, or one of the superstars doesn't hear that, there's a count of two, and then it happens. It can happen. The ending was just weird to me. I don't know.
Yeah. So now let's move on to, of course, the main event, the KO show. We had Kevin Owens with Stone Cold, and then it led to Stone Cold Steve Austin getting back in the ring versus Kevin Owens. What was your thoughts?
I knew it was gonna be more than a KO show. I wasn't sure if it was gonna be like a full blown match or whatever, because I mean, Austin, he's had a lot of issues regarding his neck, his knees, his back, stuff like that. But I mean, tonight he showed he can still fucking go. My question to you is, before we get into like the whole depth and the details of the match. So if they had a KO show tonight, and let's say this no holds barred match didn't happen tonight, but they advertised it for tomorrow night, do you think that there would have been a bigger payoff?
No, it had to happen tonight. That crowd, they were ready. They wanted it tonight. You had to send the crowd home happy, and I think what better way than that? Because if they're not freaking last, then you're not sending them home
Yeah.
happy. And you're definitely like, especially with Brock and Roman having their feud go all the way back to SummerSlam, there's no way they're gonna have, Stone Cold and Kevin take that spot over to.
Yeah. I like the segment. I love how they allowed Stone Cold to be Stone Cold. He called KO
Of
a stupid
course.
son of a bitch, and stuff like that. It's just Austin was being Austin. The only thing I noticed that over the years they don't allow him to do the middle finger. You know how he used to go up on the top rope and do the middle fingers like that? Now he just does
Yep.
this thing. So I've noticed things like that.
Yeah.
But man, whoever said Austin cannot go at 57 years old needs to get punched in the nuts, man.
Because it's crazy because I will say this, Kevin Owens, this man, he better be getting a massive fucking push after this because he made Austin look so good. And usually, Stone Cold Steve Austin opponents always show fear. And the thing I really liked was how Kevin Owens did not show any fear whatsoever. He had some really good punchlines at Stone Cold as well, calling the ATV a fucking golf cart. Thought that was really hilarious. And, coming at his knees and stuff. Like, Kevin Owens, like, he really fucking delivered. And I think he really proved that, okay, if I can friggin' do this with Stone Cold Steve Austin in his hometown in front of friggin' 77,000 friggin' people, then hell, I could be a friggin' world champion and I could be a main event guy like Roman
I will
Reigns.
say there was one spot in the match where Kevin Owens takes the table, props it up against the barricade or whatever, and everybody was like, "Oh my god, Kevin Owens is gonna put Austin to the table." And then there was another group of people that were like, "No, they're not gonna do that. They're gonna have KO take the bump, Austin's too beat up or whatever." And then a little bit later on in the match, when they fight over the barricade, you see Kevin Owens giving a suplex on concrete to Steve Austin, and you're like,
I couldn't believe
okay,
that.
so maybe Steve Austin isn't as fucked up as everybody seems to think he is.
Yeah, when I saw that, and then he friggin' suplexed him on the stage a couple times, I was like, okay, Austin, because at first when he was doing the kicks, I was like, I don't know. But then after he just picked right where he left off. And he absolutely they fucking killed it with the 5-star match.
I love how KO
easily.
got into the quad at one point and he tried to start it. He couldn't figure it out. Austin comes out of the ring, nails him in the back of the head, gets on the four-wheeler and drives with him up to the top of the ramp. It was just Austin, for whatever reason, he always has these comedic moments and he always he's a natural entertainer.
But he makes it work. And that's the thing that, like, you could be funny. You have to know how to make it work. And I feel like that's like stuff like with, okay, like with like New Day, they're able to freaking make it work. But now, like a team like Happy Corbin and Madcap Moss, they need to learn how to make it work.
Exactly.
But Stone Cold, he's one of the best.
I do feel like if Steve Austin, I wouldn't have him on TV every week. I would have him on, like, save him for special moments or whatever. But I do feel like after seeing his performance tonight, if he wanted to have one more run, even if it's, wanting to get back to the business, wanting to put over, newer talent or whatever and help build new stars, kind of like what Edge is doing. I honestly feel like he'd be able to do it.
Yeah, but here's the thing. I feel like he definitely took this opportunity because, one, he respects the shit out of Kevin Owens a lot. He even, gave him permission to even do the stunner as his finisher. They have a really close relationship. Two, I think Stone Cold he knows the potential Kevin Owens has. And I think especially friggin', putting all the spotlight on Kevin in this match, it's really going to take Kevin Owens to that main event status. As long as they book it properly.
They definitely need to book it properly. I've been saying this for a while, and I've been saying it as long as I've been doing the talk show with you. I do feel like Kevin Owens could have another WWE title run, if that becomes part of his future. He had a title run.
I'm just saying, with this whole friggin' Stone Cold thing, The fact that he made friggin' Austin look
beat the
so
shit
good
out of him, dude.
in this. But that's what I'm saying. Kevin Owens really delivered not only the segment, but the match. And that's why I'm trying to say this man definitely needs a massive push.
What
after
about when
doing this.
Austin took him by the scruff of his neck and threw him down the fucking ramp, and he just started tumbling?
Oh, classic Austin. You gotta love it.
Before he
Classic
did
Austin.
the
You really gotta love
suplexes,
it.
I swore, like, because he kept going to like either side of the ramp or whatever. I swore he was gonna like take Kevin Owens and like throw him off the fucking ramp.
Yeah, Stone Cold was having a good time. He had his beer, even the referee even got to share a beer with him. Without that, I feel like the referee must be so like this is a moment like he's gonna be telling his kids, he's gonna be freaking cherishing that moment
I
forever.
do feel like if Austin wanted to have one more small run, he'd be able to do it.
Yeah, but I don't know. I think he's done. He did what he wanted to do in Dallas, man.
If
in his place. But you're right. Never say
he
never.
wrestles again, I'd be fine with it. But the simple fact is,
Mm-hmm.
he said,
I just want that. I want this man on TV.
He said
it
took him 3 years to get, to get out of the, the bug or whatever, wanting to get in the ring. And 19 years ago, man, you're telling me after tonight and after hearing that pop and he feeling the energy and being out in that ring again, you're telling me he's not going to be like, okay, maybe there's an opportunity here. I'm not saying, have him, go for the world title or whatever, but I do feel like WWE would be able to benefit from having Austin either backstage as a producer, having him on TV sometimes, having him be, a talent or whatever that helps build new stars. Like I said, kind of like what Edge is doing or whatever. Yeah, I think that could happen.
Hey, we'll have to see. But now anything else you want to add before we, close off this review?
I just want everybody that has skepticism going into this WrestleMania, throw it right out the window, whatever. I went in with a very minimal expectations, and I was blown away. Like me and Donnie said, show starts off very slow, but it definitely picks up by the second or third match. And all night, man, I was having a good time, and it's been a while since I've actually enjoyed a WWE show this much.
I had a really good time as well watching this show. In the beginning, kind of slow, but it really picked up with Becky versus Bianca. And so many freaking moments, I think, that we're really going to look back at and say, wow, that really was stupendous. Thank you,
hey, man,
Vince
don't forget,
McMahon.
This is only night 1. We still have night 2 tomorrow night, man.
I know, and hey, we'll see what's going to happen. But if you let us know in the comment section below what your thoughts were for day 1. We really want to hear feedback from you guys. But if you enjoyed this review from the We Are Wrestling Talk Show, make sure to smash that like button now. If you're not a We Are Wrestling Maniac yet already, and you love sports entertainment or professional wrestling, help support the channel by hitting that subscribe button now, turning on the post notifications. The links are down in the description below. You can go follow Danny over on both his channels. He has a new reaction channel because his other channel got taken down. So we really need to get those subscribers up for him. Also, you can go check out his watch-alongs and wrestling vlogs.
I'll be live tomorrow night for night 2, man.
That's right. And the links are down in the description below. And, of course, if you want to go follow me on my social medias, you can do that as well and subscribe over to Best One Network and DBTV. The links are down in the description below. But, of course, to all the We Are Wrestling Maniacs out there worldwide, I hope you enjoyed WrestleMania Night 1. It's getting late as hell. It's time to get some rest because we have another freaking 6-7 hours of work coming your way because you already know the grind is real. And, of course, you already know we are taking over. Peace.